Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we give our praise, glory, honor, power unto the Most High, Yahweh, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and we do so through who? Mashiach, the one that the whole world called ignorantly Jesus Christ. All right? Because you got to understand, Caesar Borgia, that's a man. That's a wicked man. All right? That came from the root of Esau Edom. Understand that? Shalom to all the kings. Shabbat shalom to some of the brother. Right? Shabbat shalom to all our brethren. The diaspora. The brother that live in diverse region as the Most High scattered us. The brother and the sister known as the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian, based on your father. Okay? It's based on your father. We say Shabbat shalom to all of you out there. Make sure you stay in the spirit. Do not get distracted. All right? Don't get distracted by Afghanistan. Do not. All right? And we're going to tell you why. Don't get distracted because they bring those agenda out to make you sleep. The whole idea, the whole agenda behind the Afghanistani, whatsoever is going on, keep in mind, brother and sister, don't buy into it. Okay? It's part of the prophecy. You got to understand. With the most precious people on the earth, it's just that people don't understand. Based on the lie of the Christian church, the lie of the government, the lie of the politician, the lie of the power that be, and the lie of this nation, this hidden, we don't see. All right, you gotta understand. We are the most important nation on the face of the earth, Israel. Ye so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian. Right now, all the hidden, all the nation, they look on us down. You gotta understand, stay in the spirit. Ain't no big deal. It's part of the prophecy. All right? Let us go right here. Let us start right here. This is part of the prophecy. This is how we know. Let's go in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30. Right? Let's go to Jeremiah 30. Let's bring it out first. Let's go in Jeremiah 30. I'm gonna do my best to be short, all right? I'm gonna do my best to be short, okay? Let's keep that in mind. So this is very, very important, okay? So we gotta all understand this. So I'm gonna go straight in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, and we're gonna read verses 17, verses 7. Jeremiah 30 and verses 7. Jeremiah 30 and verses 7. Alas, for that day is great. Which day? Which day is the Most High talking about? The day that Yahweh Mashiach is going to crack the sky and come on the earth to deliver the children of his father. The children of his father are the so-called African American, the so-called blacks, and the so-called Latino and Native Indian. Based on your father. Numbers 118, Matthew chapter 1. You can go to so many precepts. You got to keep in mind, based on your father. Let's read it. Let's read it. He read Jeremiah 30 and 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. You see, there won't be no day like the day of Mashiach, our Lord and Savior, who cracked the heaven through the power of his Father, okay, to return upon the earth to do judgment, to do vengeance, judgment upon the hidden, judgment upon the power that be, because most of them, they are ease. Now, Esau, he doesn't understand. Esau, the hunter. Esau is the hunter. He is the cunning hunter, right? He's the one that got all the nation drunken. He got them drunken, not on whiskey, not on beer, not on the alcohol, but on his lies, his philosophy, the deception. You got to keep in mind, brother and sister. That's why don't get distracted by Afghanistan, all right? Let's read it. He said that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. So in this time, the Israelite, mainly the one keeping the law, the commandment of the Most High, they're going to go through so much trouble. And this starts since the time of our forefather. This started since the time of who? Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel. And the list goes on and on and on. You got to keep that in mind, brother and sister. Right? Let's read it. But he shall be saved out of it. Now, if you read this, it tells you that Jacob will be saved out. He did not say, the Moses did not say the whole world will be saved out. He said, but he shall be saved out of who? Jacob. Who is Jacob? The father of the so-called black Latino and Native Indian. Let's go to, he shall be saved out. Daniel 12 and 1. Let's go to Daniel chapter 12 and verses 1. Daniel, you get it right after Ezekiel. This is the book of Daniel chapter 12 and verses 1. Daniel 12 and 1. And at that time, which time? The time that Esau kingdom is going to end. Let's jump to Daniel chapter 11 and verses 45. And he shall plant the tabernacle of his palace between the seas in the glorious holy mountain. The holy mountain right here is what? Yahushalam. Yahushalom. Okay, Yahushalom, which is Jerusalem. So keep in mind, understand. And he shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the sea in the glorious holy mountain. Yet he shall come to his end. Who? Esau Edom. Esau Edom, the hunter, right? They're the one that took over our land. You gotta understand. They took over our land, the fourth beast. The fourth beast, the Roman Empire. All right? The Roman Empire, you got to keep that in mind. The Roman Empire. All right? Shalom, shalom. The Roman Empire, you got to keep that in mind. The Roman Empire. All right? That's what the Most High is talking about. The Roman Empire. Right? Let's read it again. This is the book of Daniel chapter 11 and verse 45. And he shall plant the tabernacle of his palace between the sea in the glorious holy mountain. The holy mountain, Yahushalom, which is Jerusalem, right? The land, our land, which is what? Occupied by what? The heathen. By this nation today. Why? Because we sin against our power. We sin against the Most High Yahweh. All right? Yet he shall come to his end. So in the book of Daniel, the Most High said, Esau will come to end. Esau eventually will come to his end. How do we know? We go in the book of 2nd Ezra. Let's go in 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and let's read verses 8 through 9. And he said unto me, the Most High said unto who? Ezra. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, which is correct, right? When Jacob and Esau were born, okay, of him, Jacob hence held first the heel of Esau. Just basic, right? He held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world. So who is the end of the world? Esau Edom. Right? And now if you don't understand, you're going to need to pray. You're going to fast and ask the Most High, who is Esau Edom? For Esau is the end of the world. And Jacob is the beginning. So you got to understand. Esau Edom, the hunter, the number one race hunter, they know that the end is nigh. So what are they doing? They be pushing for a lot of agenda, a lot of destruction. They want Satan to get more children. They want Satan to destroy more people. All right? Let's read it. For the hand of Esau. Now he said, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow. So they understood. They understood that Jacob, right? Jacob is what? The beginning of the new world. The world that will follow. The so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian. Understand that? It's plain and simple. It's just that people, they got caught up into what? Christianity, Islam, all type of nonsense. And I believe it. All right? Let's go right here. Let's go right here. This is Jacob trouble, man. This is Jacob trouble. A lot of y'all that don't believe it. Right? Let's go right here. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 30. Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. Alas, for that day is great. So it's a great day. So that none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So the Most High eventually, he's going to save us from all the evil. Let's go right here. This is Jacob's trouble. Let's go right here. What is going on in Afghanistan? The Taliban, they say. Then all they say is ISIS. All right. There's a lot going on, man. All right. Let's read. There we go. Let's go to right here. We're going to read it. So don't get distracted, brother. Please, brother and sister, please do not get distracted, all right? Don't get carried away by the doctrine of the devil. Don't get distracted, all right? Don't get carried away by the things of Esau Edom, all right? Let me see. Let's listen to this, okay? Let's listen to it. All right, fair use, man. This is from the White House, right? They're actually live right now from the White House, right? As you can see, this is the live from the White House, right? It's the live from the White House. This is the fair use. Live from the White House. They're about to speak. They're about to talk on what's going on in Afghanistan. Okay? Okay? They say Biden. You see that? They say Biden and Harris. I keep in mind, Biden and Harris. We see briefing this morning after yesterday attack. Right? Then we really say Kevin McCarthy criticized U.S. negotiation with Taliban. All right? White House said bombing marked worst day of Biden what? Presidency. There we go. All praise be unto the Most High, man. He said Biden wants Kabul bombing mastermind who will make you pay. Now, hey, listen, brothers and sisters, keep in mind, Esau is the liar. Esau is the liar. Esau is wicked, man. Why? Let's go right here. I gotta read this quick, man. So, I gotta read this, man. Hold on. So, we ain't gonna wait for them. Okay. We ain't gonna wait for them, right? Let's go right here. Let's go in the book of Psalms. I gotta go to the book of Psalms. Because a lot of you out there, you buy into the lie of Esau Edom. You buy into it. Because Esau is in a suit and tie. You buy into the lie of Esau. You buy into the lie of this politician. You buy into the lie, man. Don't buy into the lie. Don't believe it. They're liars, man. They're liars. They do not care about you. Listen, the only that care for you is the Most High Yahweh. Don't trust in them. Do not trust in politicians. Don't trust in them. They're working for their belly. They're working for Satan. They are on the left inside of the Most High. Understand? All right? Let's read this here quick. This is the book of Psalms. This is about Esau, man. And not only Esau, the wicked, the coon, the sellout of our people, man. A lot of you out there, coon and sellout, so-called blacks, Latino, and Native, the Most High is going to trust you through, man. Keep in mind, the Most High, Yahweh, he will trust you through. You join him with the enemy, you join him with Esau Edom, you go to the other nation country, and you start bombing them, you start killing them, right? They say when you kill them, that's what the U.S. Army military, that's what they say. I heard that from an Edomite. Esau Edom, that when he was at the war, He was all over the place. He was in war. The Gulf War, right? He was in all this, Middle East Gulf War. What did he told me? He said, you know what we do? When we kill a lot of them, we say when you kill a lot of them, stack them up high so they can see. So you know what they say? So when they kill the people in their country, when they go to the war in your country and they kill you, what do they say? They say when you kill them, when you kill, for example, the Taliban, right? They say stack them up high. What do they say? They say stack them up high so that people can see them. Who said that? Esau Edom. The red race, the red nation, man, the pale nation, man. The red all over like a hairy garment. So you got to stay awake, brother and sister. Don't get deceived by the lie. They planned this thing long time ago. It's all staged. Whatsoever is happening in Afghanistan is all staged. They're planning. Do the Afghanistan, the Taliban, do they make bomb? Ask me. The question you got to ask them. Just ask them basic question. These journalists running around in suit and tie, ask them, do the Taliban, do they know how to make bombs? Who know the secret to making bombs? The CIA, the FBI, the military mindset. They're the ones that know how to make bombs. Now, if the Afghani, the Taliban, if they happen to have a bomb, who make the bombs? It's the US, China, Russia. They're the ones that make the bombs. The Taliban, they don't know how to make bombs. How many bombs do they know to make? Who make the bombs? The so-called white men. The so-called white men, they know how to make the bombs. They're the ones that recruit these people, man. Don't let nobody fool you, man. Oh, they say there was a bombing yesterday. Don't buy into it. Do not buy into it. Don't believe that. Who provide the weapon, the bombs? Who provide it? Who teach them? Don't you know the CIA, the FBI, they recruit people. They set people up to make bombs, to do all these things. You gotta be careful, brother and sister. Watch out. These people, they're liars, man. This is all about our nation. All these things happening you see on this earth is happening because of you. Ye so-called blacks, Latino, and Native, and so this is a high time that you repent before you get caught up into your sin. When the Most High catch you in the midst of sin, you're going to regret it. It'll be too late for you, brother and sister. So stay in the spirit. Don't buy into the lie on the TV. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. You follow the Most High. Keep the commandment. Stay in the spirit. Keep the commandment. Stay in the spirit. Keep the commandment. Stay in the spirit. That's what you got to do. Satan is plotting so many things against us. So we know how he operates. He can use your wife. He can use your brother. He can use your father. Satan can use your mother. You got to keep in mind, stay in the spirit. Be pricked by the word of the Most High. So let's read about the lion Esau Edom. He's a cunning hunter, man. He's a cunning hunter. Let's go right here. Genesis. Let's go to Genesis. The word cunning is meanwhile. They act as if like they are down with you, but they'll turn around and they stab you. Didn't Joe Biden, right? Joe Biden, Hunter Joe Biden, didn't he know about what's going on in Afghanistan? He knew about it, right? All assembly, he said, well, we're going to pay you. Who are you paying, man? It's a lie. Don't believe them. Who give the gun, the weapon? Don't you see the killing here in America? He got to deal with the killing here in America, here first. The homicide, suicide rate in America. He got to deal with that. Leave the Taliban in their country. It's their country. They can ruin it, man. They can destroy it. They can blow it up. And if they happen to blow it up, understand, who gave them the bomb and the weapon? Who gave them all this military machine, all this heavy machine, this weapon? Who gave them, who sell them those stuff? It's in the US. It's not China. It's not Russia. It's not England. It's not France, Germany. Come on, man. Come on, man. Wake the hell up. Y'all so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian, man. Wake up. Or the Most High will cut you off. Don't join him with the enemy, man. Stay in the spirit. Let's read it. Esau is the cunning hunter. Let's go right here. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 25. And the first came out right. Who? Esau Edom, the pale-skinned nation. Esau Edom. And if your father is a so-called white man, then you are an Edomite. It doesn't matter whether your mama be a so-called black woman, whether your mama be a so-called African American, you are a war Esau Edom. You are what your father is, point blank, period. There is no such thing as I'm half Italian, half French, I'm half Mexican, half Salvadorian. That's garbage. It does not exist. Okay, that's the doctrine of the Christian church. All right, biblically, you are what your father is. The men carry the semen. The men carry the semen. That's why the Most High say, well, the man is the head of the house. All right, so keep that in mind. And verse 25, Genesis 25 and 25, and the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, all over like a hairy garment, right? And they call his name what? Esau. They call his name Esau. You got to keep in mind Esau. Like after that came his brother out, Jacob, right? The dark-skinned people, the so-called Latino. So keep in mind, and his hand took hold on Esau. You go in the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, right? I just read it early. 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verses 8 through 9. Because Esau is the end of the world. So Esau understand. That's why they ramp up everything. They're ramping up everything right now. That's why they want to get the Afghanistani into their weakness. They want Afghanistani to drink of the wine, the fornication. The fornication of Esau Edom. They want everybody, not only us, they want all the nation to buy into their weakness. That's the whole idea, man. They want to turn Afghanistan to a little Babylon. And that's what is happening right now, man. Afghanistan right now is the land of confusion. All right, so let's read it. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. 80 years old. So 20. 20 times 3, 60. So he was 60 years old when the Most High allowed him to have what? Jacob and the wicked Esau. The righteous Jacob and the wicked Esau. The liars. Let's read verse 27. Genesis 25 and 27. And the boys grew, the boys, Esau the hunter, like hunter Joe Biden, okay, keep in mind. And the boys grew. And Esau was a cunning hunter. Do you understand what the word cunning means? Let's go to it. Let me see if I can hold on to the definition of the word hunter. Cunning. Let's take a look at the word cunning. Let's see what it means. Bear with me, brother and sister. I just want to do this quick, man. Because a lot out there going on, man. The brother get distracted, man. Cunning definition. Right, let's take a look at what Google got to say. Okay. There we go, man. There we go. You see cunning, right? You see what he said right there? This is from, let's take a look at it. Oxford Dictionary. Oxford Dictionary. This is the word cunning. Okay. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay. Cunning. Let's read it. Cunning. It's a having or showing skill. So Esau Edom, he has the skill in achieving one's end by deceit. So how did Esau come to power? How did white people become the so-called owner of America? How did they become the owner of Europe? How did they become the owner of the land of the 12 tribes of Israel? How did they took over the whole world? Let's see. How were they able to conquer the whole world? How were they able to deceive the whole world? Esau Edom. Let's check it out. Let's read it. He said, well, having or showing skill in achieving one's end by deceit. So how did they conquer the whole world? By deceit. Or what? Evasion. They evaded. They took over everybody's land. So let's go back to it. Right? Let's read it. Right? This is the book of Genesis 25 and 27. And the boys grew, Jacob and Esau. And Esau was the cunning hunter, right? He was a deceiver, right? A man of the field, that's why you see them. They go kill the beasts that are peace in Africa, other places, just for the head, just for the horn, right? Just to make, the private part stronger, things like that, right? And Jacob was the plain man dwelling there. So keep in mind, that's Esau Edom, man. That's Esau Edom. All right, let's go back right here. Psalm 58. Let's read it. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 58, and verses 1. Let's read from verses 2. Yeah, in heart ye work wickedness. Who? Esau Edom. And rebellious and wicked of our people, the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian. The sellout, the coon of our people, the Uncle Sam, the sellout, the one working just for their belly, and their gut and their behind. Those ones that just worry about the money. They just want the money. They don't care about their own people. They don't love the Most High. They don't love their own people. You're part of it too, not just Esau. So we are addressing everybody together. Right? He said, well, ye in heart ye work weakness. So they invade the land of the other people. Who did that? Esau Edom. Germany, the US, France, England, Russia, China. What did they do? They invade the land of the Afghanistani. They took over the land with a false flag. The false flag was during the time of the so-called Republican under who? Bush, George Walker Bush. What did they say? They claimed that bin Laden attacked the tower, which is not true. They made it up. It's an inside job. And what happened after that? You can call me conspiracy all you want. I'll probably be unto the Most High Yahweh. All right. And what happened after that? They went over Afghanistan and started growing up the opium, that drugs, and start threatening, doing all type of weakness. They give weapon to one side and give weapon not to the other side. That's what they operate. Right? They took over the land of the Taliban. Now the Taliban, they have culture. They got value they want to stick onto. They want the women to follow righteousness. They want the men to be righteous. Now Esau want the Taliban and the Afghanistani, he want to divide them. That's how Esau take over your land. He come, he divide you. That's what he did when he came on this land. The land known as what? As America, what did he do? He started killing the people. Right? That's right, King Shalom King. He started killing the Native Indian. He took over the land of the Native Indian. And he turned the Native Indian brother and forefather that was living in Peru against the one that was living here in North America. And the one in North America against, that's what he did. He turned the Choctaw against the Seminole. The Seminole against, and the list goes on and on and on. That's how Esau operates. Esau turned the so-called blacks against the so-called Latino, and the so-called Latino against the so-called black. That's how Esau take over your land. When they went to Europe, the dark-skinned children of Japhet, see, this way last day, I've been to Europe more than 3 times. Understand that? I've been to Europe. So you look at the gypsy when you go in the metro in Europe, the gypsy, the dark-skinned people. What happened? Europe was the land of their forefathers. Their forefathers, Japhet. Who stole over the land? Who took over the land? Esau Edom, the so-called white men. After the conquer war, the children of Japhet that were living in Italy and the Jew that were living in Italy back in those days, and they start sacking the Jew. They told the Jew, the dark-skinned brother that were living in Rome, guess what? Under Claudius, they told the Jew to leave because they start slaughtering them, they start killing them. That's how they took over your land. And what did they say today? They call you illegal immigrant. Now, who is the real illegal immigrant? The so-called white men. Did the Native Indian give them visa to come to America? Never. They just invade the land. They lie. They came. That's what I'm telling you. They're cunning hunter. That's how they operate, man. That's how they operate. You see right now that the Most High is exposing them. What are they doing? All of a sudden, they're debunking everything. Everything they force, fact check, check facting, fact checking. I said, listen, man, Esau, you checking your behind, buddy. The behind is dirty, man. It's smelling bad. It doesn't matter how you're going to fact check, man. You're being exposed, man. Your time, you're running out of time, Esau Edom. You're running out of time. It doesn't matter what you're going to do, man. You're running out of time. And they know it. The only people that don't know that Esau is running out of time are the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian. Blind, fully blinded, man. Our people don't know the Most High. They only know the money. They only know, weakness. That's what they know. They don't want to repent. They don't want to go back to the Most High and just be humble in the spirit. No, man.